The Aldrich Family, based on characters originated by Clifford Goldsmith and starring Ezra Stone as Hen-ree with Jackie Kelk as Homer.
Hen-ree Al-drich.
Coming, Mother.
For the Aldrich Family.
In the fall of the year, most growing things shed their foliage and settle down to rest for the winter. But an impulsive teenage boy never rests. In the case of Hen-ree Al-drich, the fall air merely increases his normal speed. The scene opens in the Centerville butcher's shop on Main Street. It is early afternoon.
Now then, Henry, I guess you're next. Well, Mr. Pritchard, I'm here. So I see. Here I am, Mr. Pritchard. I've come to pick up my order. What order? Gee whiz, my wieners. Remember, I phoned and asked if you'd get me $3 worth of extra fresh ones. Oh, you did? Sure. 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 Gee, is that Charlie Clark going by? Excuse me a minute. Hey, Charlie!
Hi, Henry.
Charlie, have the kids got everything straight?
Sure, I guess so.
You're all to go to McQuarkle's Rocks on your bike.
Sure.
And nobody's to light the fire until I get there.
Okay.
Okay.
Why?
Why what?
Why do we have to wait till you get there?
Because, Charlie, because I'm organizing the whole thing.
Oh.
Sure.
Why?
Why? Gee whiz, so nothing will go wrong.
Henry, did you say $2 worth or $3 worth?
$3, Mr. Pritchard.
Okay.
Extra fresh. Now listen, Charlie. Charlie, where'd you go to? Gee whiz. Mr. Pritchard, are you taking those wieners out of the showcase?
Sure.
But didn't you order special ones just for me?
Why, sure, Henry. I've just been saving them just for you, right here in the corner of the showcase.
Oh, well, that's good. Boy, have I got a headache.
Oh, that's too bad.
I don't know why I let myself get talked into managing these things. Excuse me. Do you mind if I just watch you weigh those wieners?
Now, look, Henry, just keep away from these scales.
Sure, I'd be glad to. Only I have to look after all the little details, such as... Such as what? Well, Mr. Pritchard, I don't suppose your thumb's actually resting on the scales. It just looks like it.
Look, I'll throw in 2 extra wieners if you'll get down off my counter.
Sure. Gee, thanks very much.
You want me to leave the wieners in this here box?
Yes, please. And would you put some heavy brown paper on it and lots of string?
All right.
I don't want anything to go wrong.
Hi, Hen.
You got everything straight, Homer?
I got your bike from the garage, if that's what you mean.
Did they check it from top to bottom?
They put air in the tires. What else can you do with a bike?
It's got to be in perfect running order, Homer. I told you that. I've got a big responsibility.
Listen, Henry, who asked you to be responsible anyway?
What do you mean by that?
Just because the kids gave you the money for the wieners, that doesn't mean you had to talk everybody into peddling way out into the country.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Gee whiz, it's work.
But think of the appetite it'll give you.
Henry, I don't need anything to give me an appetite. Why can't we have the wiener roast in your backyard, the way you said in the first place?
Homer, when I invited the kids to my backyard, how was I to know my father had just planted grass seed and was going to be unreasonable about it?
Well, what's the matter with your front lawn?
Homer, listen. Why sit on an uncomfortable lawn when you can sit in solid comfort on McQuarkle's Rock?
Here, Henry, here's your wieners. That'll be $3.
Sure, I've got it right here. Right?
Henry, what's the matter?
Oh, boy.
Why are you turning all your pockets inside out?
Oh, boy. Homer, have you got any money?
What do you mean if I got any money? Where's our $3?
I had it in this pocket here.
The one with the hole in it?
It was all folded up. Oh, boy. Mr. Pritchard, what are you doing?
Are you blind, Henry? He's unwrapping the wieners.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Pritchard, wait a minute. Homer, I want you to go all the way back to my house on your hands and knees.
Now, listen, Henry.
Hey, wait a minute.
Why are you taking your shoe off?
Look! Here's the $3. in my sock.
What?
And it's still all folded up.
Well, I'll be darned.
Mr. Pritchard, would you mind wrapping those wieners up again?
Oh, all right.
Boy, Homer, isn't this my lucky day?
I'll say.
Let's get going. Where'd you put my bike?
Right out there at the curb, behind that truck.
You mean the one that's... Homer, the truck's backing up.
Hey!
Oh, gee, where's my bike? Hey, mister, look out! Hey, cut it out! Hello? Hello, is that you, Charlie?
Sure, who's this?
It's Hen-ree. Hiya, Charlie, old kid. How's the kid?
What kid?
Look, Charlie, you know what I've been doing? I've been thinking.
You have Hen-ree again?
What do you mean by a statement like that?
Well, you did some thinking yesterday, Hen-ree, and all I did was get confused.
What's confusing about it, Charlie? Instead of sitting around and being bored in my backyard, we're having a swell wiener roast in the open air at McQuarkle's Rocks. What's so confusing about that?
Nothing, I guess, except you keep changing your mind all the time.
No, I don't.
Okay, we're all going out to McQuarkle's Rocks on our bikes. That's final.
Well, look, Charlie, and that's what I've been thinking about. We're just letting ourselves in for a lot of trouble going on bikes.
We are? Why?
Well, for one thing, they're tearing up a piece of the road out there. And, boy, there are ruts all over the place.
Yeah?
Sure, and detours. Well, it's a regular booby trap, Charlie.
Gee whiz.
So, look, why don't we get all the kids to get their father's cars and drive out there in solid comfort?
Through all those ruts?
Well, Charlie, look, you go through a rut on a bike and you're up a tree.
What?
But you go through a rut in a car and where are you?
Where?
Gee whiz, in a rut. That's the beautiful part, Charlie. You stay there.
That's true.
So, do you think you can swing it from bikes to cars?
I'm all confused again, Hen, but I'll try. I'll phone a couple of the fellas and go to work on my father and call you back.
Okay, you do that.
Have you got your father's car?
It's practically in the bag. So long. Father! Father, are you upstairs?
I'm in my room, Hen-ree.
You are? Can I help you with anything?
As a matter of fact, I'm hunting for something.
Oh, I'll help you hunt, Father. I'll start on this drawer here. What are we looking for?
Never mind, Hen-ree. What is it you want?
Why, now that you mention it, Father, we've always been pretty good pals, haven't we?
I think so, son.
Sure. That's what I'm always telling the kids. Boy, I say, is my father a reasonable sort of guy. He has his faults, sure, but don't we all? The main thing is, he's generous.
Who is?
You are, Father. And boy, I think if a person is generous, then the rest can just go out the window. Would you like a wiener, Father?
You're throwing them out the window?
No, gee whiz, I'm just not letting them out of my sight. Father, I'll get right to the point.
I'm glad to hear it.
I'll ask you straight from the shoulder. You know your car?
Pretty well. I've been on intimate terms with it for 10 years.
Well, sure, that's my point.
What is?
Father, you remember the other night you said you didn't feel you should get a new car until this one was worn out?
Yes, I believe I said that.
Well, don't you agree that the only way to wear it out is to use it?
I do use it.
Sure, Father, but I don't.
Hen-ree, I don't want it worn out that quickly.
Well, Father, if you just lend it to me tonight, I give you my word you'll never know it had been in a rut.
What's that?
Oh, I mean, well, it's a matter of life and death, Father, and all the other kids are getting cars, I think.
Hen-ree, if you want to borrow my car this evening, why don't you come right out and ask for it?
You mean I can have it?
Well, if you can show me a good reason why you need it.
Oh, I can, Father. I can dig up as many reasons as you want.
Hen-ree!
Yes, Mother?
You're wanted on the phone.
Oh, boy, that'll be Charlie. I'll be right back, Father, with my reasons. Thanks, Mother.
Hen-ree, slow down.
My goodness, Sam, what's the matter with Hen-ree?
Well, that's a pretty involved subject, Alice. Right now, I'm trying to find my maroon tie.
What maroon tie, Sam?
My favorite, Alice, the one I wear all the time. I've been hunting high and low for it all week.
Now, dear, you don't want that tie. It was worn practically to shreds.
Alice, why do you say that?
Dear, let's talk about it some other time. I have to go down and start dinner.
Alice, what happened to my maroon tie?
Very well, Sam. To be perfectly frank, Hen-ree borrowed it.
What?
Now, dear, before you lose your temper, try to think of all the nice things he does.
Hen-ree!
Sam, there's no use asking him for it.
Why not?
Well, as I said, it was pretty well worn, and And, well, you see, Henry was patting this horse.
What?
And you know those little white squares on the tie? Sam, you have to admit they do look like lumps of sugar.
Alice, do you mean some strange horse ate my tie?
Oh, no, Sam.
No?
It was Gus's horse, Sheila. You know Sheila did.
Alice, that's the third thing Henry has borrowed and not returned this week.
Henry isn't the only one, dear. There's that book you borrowed over a year ago called History of the Roman Empire.
Alice, that's different. I don't remember who I borrowed it from.
Have you made much of an effort to find out?
Alice, I never heard of anyone called Aunt Tilly. And that's the only name in the book. Henry, where are you?
And now, dear, try not to get angry.
I'm just going to teach Henry a lesson.
You have, Charlie? You have your father all sewed up? Well, so have I.
Henry, please put down that receiver.
Sure, Father. So long, Charlie. And keep working on the rest of the kids.
Henry, about my car...
Sure, Father. Here are my reasons.
You can forget the whole thing.
Forget it? Father, you mean I can't have it?
I do.
But you haven't heard my reasons.
Just sit down, son. I'll tell you a few of my reasons.
Hello?
Hi, Homer, old-timer. How are tricks?
Is that you, Hen?
Sure.
I was just going to phone you. My father finally forked over his car. We're all set.
We are? Well, look, Homer, I've been thinking, and did I come up with a swell idea?
Yeah.
Sure, it's so good I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Look, why don't we all chip in and take a couple of taxis out to McQuarkle's Rocks?
A taxi?
Sure, and ride out in solid comfort.
Well, Henry, you take a taxi and I'll go in my father's car.
But wouldn't it be more fun if we all went together? And then besides, if we all chip in, it'll be cheaper.
What do you mean cheaper? It wouldn't cost me a cent to go in my car.
Think of the repairs.
What repairs?
Homer, that road is full of ruts. Why, some of them are this deep.
They are? As deep as that?
Sure. Sure, you'd stand a very good chance of wrecking your car out there. But a taxi's different. They're made to be wrecked.
Well, how much would a taxi cost?
I got it all figured out. Only $2 each.
Henry, that's $2 more than I've got.
All you gotta do is work on your father. You've got a golden tongue, Homer.
A what?
A golden tongue, a golden tongue.
I have?
And I'll phone the other kids and get the wheels rolling.
But Father, Hen-ree Al-drich can get $2.
Now, wait, Charlie.
Mother says it's all right with her and it's all right with Mr. Aldrich. So why isn't it all right with you?
What do you want the $2 for? I told you could have my car, didn't I?
Yeah, but suddenly we've all decided to go out to McQuarkle's Rocks by taxi.
By taxi? Why?
Because of the ruts, and it's bad enough with a bicycle, and with a car, gee. Only a taxi doesn't cost as much to fix like a car is when it's wrecked.
What's that?
I think that's my reason. I'm all confused.
Now, just a minute. Who's running this Weiner roast?
Hen-ree Al-drich.
Very well. Before my headache gets any worse, I'm going to phone the Aldriches and find out what's going on.
I still don't think you'll understand it any more than I do.
Number, please.
Elm 303.
Elm 303.
Charlie, run along.
Can I listen, Father? I'd like to find out what's happening.
I'll tell you what's happening. Now, run along.
Yes, Father.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Aldrich. This is Mr. Clark.
Oh, how are you, Walter?
Sam, I'd just like to know if you're loaning Henry your car this evening or if you're giving him money or what.
Well, I'm certainly not lending him my car. I'm being very firm about that. A boy his age isn't capable of taking care of other people's belongings.
I see.
Recently, Henry's developed the bad habit of borrowing things and not returning them, so I've decided to clamp down.
Good for you, Sam. Borrowing things is one of the worst faults a boy can have.
Exactly.
Some people never get over it, even when they grow up.
I agree with you 100%.
For example, Sam, somebody, I can't remember who it was, borrowed a favorite book of mine over a year ago. History of the Roman Empire it was. Yes, sir. And I've never seen the book again.
Mr. Clark, that's rather a coincidence.
If you ask me, Sam, it's a perfect example of bad upbringing.
I'm sure your book will show up one of these days, Mr. Clark. Now, excuse me, I think I hear my wife calling me. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Sam.
Walter, did I hear you talking about that history of the Roman Empire?
You did?
Well, I certainly wish you'd hurry and find it. Aunt Tilly keeps saying you borrowed it from her and never returned it.
Now, Marion, it'll show up one of these days. Where is Charlie?
Here I am, Father. Can I have the $2?
You may not.
You mean I have to go in your car?
And you can't have the car either. A boy your age isn't capable of taking care of other people's belongings.
But,
and I
Father...
don't want any argument, Charlie. From now on, I'm clamping down around
But
here.
how am I going to get to the Weiner roast tonight?
That's for Hen-ree Al-drich to figure out.
Now getting back to the troubles of Hen-ree Al-drich. Hen-ree has undertaken the management of a Weiner roast at McQuarkle's Rocks. And when a truck ran over his bicycle, he swung the boys around to going in cars. Now Hen-ree can't get a car, and his attempts to raise money for taxis seem to have backfired. The scene opens in the Aldrich living room. It is 6 o'clock the same night.
Homer, what do you mean by that?
Lock the doors, Henry. Lock the doors.
Why? Gee whiz.
The kids are all on their way over here to your house, and boy, are they mad.
What are they coming over here for?
They're all going to punch you in the nose and take their wieners over to Willie's backyard and eat them.
But I thought everybody was getting money for taxis.
Oh, they were. Only everybody got confused, and our fathers started phoning each other, and now they've all decided to clamp down.
But why?
Well, as near as I can figure out, it's because your father says boys our age shouldn't borrow anything.
Oh, boy. Well, frankly, Homer, I'm kind of tired. I don't mind a bit having the whole thing over at Willie's.
The trouble is, Hen.
What?
You're not invited.
I'm not invited? After all I've done?
That's why you're not invited.
Well, gee, that's the thanks you get. Well, then, wait a minute. Homer, listen, I just got an idea.
Henry, take my advice and forget it.
Look, when the kids get here, you stall them, see? Don't let them get near the wieners. And in exactly half an hour, they're going to get the biggest surprise of their life. Gus, is there any way we could hurry with this?
No, you can't hurry a sensitive horse like Sheila, Henry. Not when it comes to hitching her to a hay wagon.
I know, Gus, but it's 6:15. Go on, Sheila. Back up.
Henry, it won't get you any place pushing her. You have to talk to her.
Yeah? Sheila, listen, I'm talking to you. It's 6:15, and the kids won't wait much longer.
Back we go, Sheila, baby. Back up to the nice wagon.
I sure appreciate your doing this for me, Gus. Boy, wait till the kids hear they're having a hayride out to McQuarkle's Rocks.
But I'm not the one doing you a favor, Henry. It's Sheila.
It is?
Yeah. You don't know what this is costing her. She's allergic to hay, you know.
But is that right?
Yeah. Poor baby, she's got hay fever. There you go, Sheila. Now let Gus put your harness on.
Well, could I be taking care of this?
Yeah. That's the bit, Henry. It goes in her mouth.
Oh, yeah, sure. Here, Sheila. Open your mouth.
You'll have to drive her real careful, Henry. So she's a regular bundle of nerves tonight.
She is?
Yeah.
Well, if she seems unhappy, I brought something along to give her. Something she loves.
What is it?
The other half of my father's maroon tie.
Sam, I wish you wouldn't bolt your supper like that.
I'm not bolting. I'm just in a hurry. Did you wrap up the book?
Yes, dear, and I padded it with brown paper. It's on the hall table. But I still wish you'd face Mr. Clark like a man instead of sneaking over there.
Just as long as he gets his book back, he doesn't care how it gets there.
Oh, I still don't approve of you just tossing the Roman Empire up on his front porch.
What's that?
Don't worry, folks. It's only me.
Homer, what are you doing at that window?
I'm not coming in, Mr. Aldrich. I'm just scouting. Where's Henry? Have you heard from him?
No, Homer, but he said he'd be back here by 6:30.
Homer, are all the boys still on the front porch?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you have them wait inside?
In the hall, with Henry's box of wieners right there on the table.
Hey, Homer, where are you?
Yeah, where are you, Homer? What's he doing? I can't hold out much longer.
What do you mean?
Sam, isn't it grand?
What is?
The way Henry has managed this entire affair with all the boys leaning on him. Why, with his capabilities, he might even...
Yes?
Sam, I wouldn't say this to anybody else, but just think, President Aldrich.
That's going just a little far, Alice.
I don't know if he got the proper guidance and help. For instance, Sam, I do think you should have let him have your car tonight.
Nonsense, Alice. If I'd let Henry my car, he wouldn't have had the satisfaction of working this thing out for himself.
Well, I know,
When he left here, he said he had a solution to the whole transportation problem.
Well, that's true.
When he works it out, the boys will respect him for it, and so will I.
Well, I suppose so, dear.
It's just that I understand boys better than you do. Now, where's that history of the Roman Empire? I'd better get over to the Clarks. Good heavens, what's all that racket?
Well, Sam, open the door and see.
What?
Wieners, we want our
Now listen, fellas, you can at least take your hats off.
Where's Henry?
Who cares about Henry? Where's our
Now, wait a
Wieners?
My goodness, Sam, speak to them.
You speak to them, Alice. Where's my book? Oh, there.
Sam, that's not your book. That's Henry's box of wieners.
Oh, then this is the book.
It's wrong. It shows you our wieners.
Hey, now look, boys, let go of me.
Don't tell them, they'll lynch him.
Sam, come back here. You understand, boys? Boys, listen to me. Hello?
Is that you, Mother?
Henry, what on earth happened to you?
Oh, boy, everything.
All the boys are right here in the living room waiting for you.
They are? Oh, gee whiz.
I explained to them that you were working out a way to get them all out to McCorkle's Rocks. And, dear, they were so excited they forgave you for everything.
Mother, that's the whole trouble. They were going to have a hayride, only now they're not.
Why not?
Well, I was driving Sheila down Walnut Street, and she was as peaceful as can be when, bang.
What happened?
All of a sudden, a fellow with his coat collar turned up and his hat down over his eyes dashed right in front of Sheila and threw something.
Yes?
And the first thing I knew, there was hay all over the place. I was in the gutter, and Sheila was headed for home.
Oh, my goodness.
And, look, Mother, would you mind packing a suitcase and sending it over to Aunt Harriet's?
Henry, why on earth should
Well,
you...
I'm just going to stay here a couple of weeks, till the air clears.
Now, dear, you can't do that.
Alice!
Henry, your father just came in. I'll talk to him and call you back.
Okay.
Sam, what on earth is that all over your coat?
Hey.
Hey?
Hey, Alice. I just thrown the book up on the Clark's front porch when out of a clear sky I was nearly killed by a horse.
You mean it was you?
What?
Sam Aldrich, do you realize what you've done?
What I've done?
When you ran in front of that hay wagon, you upset Henry's whole apple cart.
Alice, will you please explain what you're talking about?
Just this, Sam. If you don't do something to help Henry, he'll never be able to face his friends again.
Alice, I'm exhausted.
Here you are, dear. I brought your slippers down for you.
Thank you. But I'm too tired to lean over and put them on.
Now, Sam, it wasn't really as bad as that.
Alice, that's a long drive out to McCorkle's Rocks.
Well, I do think you could have taken the boys out there without making 2 trips.
There is a law, Alice, that says you can't take 14 boys in one car.
Well, they aren't very big boys.
Now, Alice.
Well, the main thing is that Henry and his wieners and his friends are all out at McCorkle's Rocks. I'm sorry you're tired, dear, but I'm glad that Henry's happy.
Seems to me that it should have been a simple thing for Henry to arrange a wiener roast without running into all that trouble.
He did his best, Sam. He may have made a few little mistakes.
That's just it. He should learn not to make mistakes. My one little mistake can alter the whole course of the world.
Yes, dear. Oh, did I tell you Mrs. Clark phoned while you were out?
Mrs. Clark, they didn't see me, did they?
Oh, no. They wanted us to come over and play bridge this evening.
What's that? After all I've been through?
I knew you'd be tired, dear, so I said no.
Good.
I invited them over here instead.
Over here? Alice, why did you do that? The last thing in the world I feel like doing is playing bridge with the Clarks.
Oh, you'd better answer the phone, Sam. I'll have to start on the refreshment.
But Alice, that's a fine thing. Hello?
Hello
there, Mr. Aldrich. This is Walter Clark.
Well, hello, Walter. I hear we're playing bridge tonight.
Yes.
Well, I'm delighted.
Look, Sam, would you mind if we brought along the refreshments?
Oh, now, that won't be necessary.
But we'd really like to. You see, earlier this evening, some stranger tossed a package up on our front veranda.
What's that?
And when we opened it, it turned out to be a box of wieners.
Wieners? You mean... Oh, no.
Listen again next week, same time, same station, for another sparkling half hour with your favorite youngster, his family, and his pals. The Aldrich Family, starring Ezra Stone, is written by Clifford Goldsmith.